When you see the disastrous situation of the people living on the countryside, oppressed by the communists or by other people who are against God and the laws, people who are victims of today's corruption, these people are very much humiliated. And if by your example you can show them and you can bring them Jesus Christ in His humility, it's just one step, just this act of faith. And you can make these poorest of all, like this poor man, this poor who came at just the entrance. I think it very often. Sometimes when you have a sermon, somebody shows up in the last and he stands there. And at the end of the sermon, he falls down on his knees. Is it not that what the Legion of Mary is working? Going to the places, preferably to these poor places, of the peaceable, or the poorest of all, spiritually poor, Freemasons, people living in false religion. You love them. You want to save their souls. And this is now important, that you appreciate that. Their humiliation. You are humiliated. In fact, you are privileged. You are much closer to Jesus Christ than you think. But before you do this, you must start to become humble yourself. And this is a work of every day. St. Maximilian Kolbe says, your pride will die 15 minutes after your death. Your pride, our pride, will die 15 minutes after our death. It will accompany us our whole life. This is the worst enemy which is in us. Don't believe that the worst enemy is the attacks against purity. The worst enemy are our little jealousies and angers. The worst enemy is in us. The worst enemy is even on outside us. All the Freemasons and the people who temptate us and make up traps. The worst enemy is inside us, and this is our pride. This is what St. Paul says, this old Adam which sits in us, which is so hard to get it out. And this is the fight you have never to finish. But this is exactly the necessity of Our Lady. She will come, and if you invite her, the first thing she teaches you is to take part in her humility. She teaches you that. Humble yourself. That what you have and you are. Regard that never, 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 never as your own. And the test that it works is how you look towards the people. If you look to the people around you with pride, with the attitude of I am the better and he is the worse, you have missed the point. It's wrong. But if you see these people and say, oh my God, if this man and this woman would have received the same graces I have received the last years, these people would be 1,000 times, 5 times, 10 times better than me, probably. That's what you have to say. And then you must throw out your heart, each even atom of this pride. You must fight against it because it comes alone. Look, you will read a newspaper. Immediately in your heart will come the first woman. These bad guys. Oh, no, get it out. It's not that. Poor people, if they would have received the same graces. So you humble yourself, and you will find yourself really as the worst of all. The worst of all, maybe not because you have done a sin. Maybe. Probably yes, or maybe not. But because all that is the grace of God. Now I give you the famous understanding of humility, or true humility of a pure soul. That you can understand what is the humility of Our Lady. Why she is so humble when she has never committed a sin and considers herself at the last of all, just at the last place. Our Lady has never taken her place. She didn't want to become the superior of St. Peter. She was in the last, one of the last faithful during Mass. Each humble priest was in this moment more than her. And she was not jealous of him like the feminist women want all to become priests today. Or something like this. She wanted to take the last place, as she did in Nazareth, as she did with St. Elizabeth, as she did when she again was with St. John even after the resurrection. She disappears in the house of St. John in Ephesus, and she works in the kitchen after the end of the night. Look, Saint Teresa of Child Jesus is our champion in this. She gives you an example. Imagine a father and a son. And the father is a famous, great, important man. And the son, he walks. You imagine the father, a son, and the father loves the son. Now you see, the son is walking, but he doesn't keep attention. And suddenly, there is a stone, and some stones, he doesn't see that, and he falls down, he crashes himself fully in the dust, in the dirt. The good father will come, take the deeply wounded son, take him home, and cure him, and take care of him, like the good Samaritan with the half-dead man who is going away from the city of peace into the city of corruption, from Jerusalem to Jericho. But imagine now another example. This father, he would foresee exactly my son would crash himself completely. And in the moment when the sun is coming and he's just starting to fall, and before falling down, the father is there, he keeps him in his hands. The son will be not wounded. The son will not have any small wound. There is no blood. He was kept in the hands of the Father. What is the greater grace? This or that one? Of course it's immense. If somebody is crashed in the ground with many sins on his neck and his shoulders and in his heart, and the good Samaritan, our Lord Jesus Christ, comes and takes you, prodigal son, Mary Magdalene, from your bad life and purifies you for the mercy. But if the same Jesus Christ foresaw what would happen to you, and before having the chance to fall down and to do this, he kept you like the best father just before falling down. That is even a greater mercy. This is what Our Lady meditates about herself.